Hey students, we're going to be covering home virtual presenting and interview setup just real briefly to make sure that we are getting the highest quality, most professional appearance in when we are doing virtual interviews or presenting virtually. Now, let me just say, presenting virtually is the norm now. Almost all jobs that you apply for post-graduation, you will have a virtual interview first. So having a good home setup will be crucial and key in setting yourself up for success. We'll talk more about that in a minute. We're going to talk about some equipment that you might want to invest in to level up your quality, because if you can convey and demonstrate a professionalism and a quality superior to your equals, well, you're going to have a leg up. You're going to have a competitive advantage to get that job over other qualified applicants, or to wow your bosses, or to land that sales deal, or whatever it might be in your virtual presentation. So let's get started. The first thing you want to think about is your background, okay? So the research shows that a blank, just totally blank background is really good. It's fine. If all this was just white and nothing else behind me, that's fine. That's good, solid. But what they found is the number one, the most aesthetic, the most professional, most polished, whatever you want to call it, is having one or two accent items behind you that give your audience something to look at in addition to just you. And there's a lot of psychology that dives into it. I'm not going to dive into that right now, but I'm a little bit extra here. As you can see, I have my hexagonal soundboard that creates a fun little pattern. I have my UVU steel metal sign poster thing here. And then I also have my black curtains that block out the natural light. And then I have a sofa behind me. So this is a little cluttered. This is a little bit much. If I were to be doing a job interview, I would probably lower the camera and face it up. And I would also lower my chair to be eye level with it, so that you can't see the sofa. So that way there's just two or three things in the background that are simple, they're clean, they're minimalistic. That is the most effective. What we definitely do not want is clutter or unrelated things in the background. We don't want clothes and laundry or your backpack or anything that could distract or convey messiness to your audience. We want to make sure to remove. If you want a bonus chance to get hired, just go ahead and get yourself a dog. That really improves. I'm just joking. He is really cute, though. His belly up. Oh, my goodness. I love my dogs. All right. Anyway, no, actually, animals are a distraction. Don't have them in the frame. I'm just going to go like this for the rest so you don't look at him instead of me. So maybe I'll just there we go. Boom. Perfect. Anyway, moving on. After you have your background and your setup figured out, you have your back area well cleaned and aesthetic. The next thing you want to think about is where your camera is in proportion to you. So there's a general rule of thirds. You want your eyesight to be about in between a third of the screen and then half, like somewhere in between there. So I'm actually a little bit low. If I was doing a professional presentation, I'd probably do it more like that. There we go. So I could abide by that rule of thirds. But more important than that is you do not want the camera to be looking up your nose, okay? So most like if I had a laptop, my position would probably be more like this, when I'd be looking down at it. And that is not good. The reason being, when we look down at somebody, it makes us appear intimidating and that we're superior in some way. Rather, you want the webcam to be just slightly above you at eye level. Okay, so that's where we're at. You want it forward facing, eye level, solid. That's what you want. I've had students in the past who have built little towers of textbooks and stuff to push their laptop up so they have that good angle. That can work. That's a little inconvenient. What I would suggest doing instead is buying a webcam. And you can get little mounts for them that are pretty cheap. And we'll cover all of the equipment here in a sec. But that's the main thing you want. Eye level or slightly looking up at it. Okay. Next thing we want to talk about is lighting. Okay. The best form of lighting is natural light. Okay. And my natural light is actually looking pretty good right now. Earlier, the sun was shining straight onto me, so it was washing me out. But the other problem for me is if I have it on right now, it's casting onto this side of my face, and then this side is in shadow, and I don't want to be like Two-Face from Batman. So what I do is I will close that off. Maybe I would open a little bit in the back, but instead I use a ring light, which I'll show you here. I'll hold it up. So I use a ring light to add some extra lighting because, once again, if my only light source is above me, it's going to cast shadows on my face, especially if it's nighttime. If it's night, it's going to make me look like a villain, like the shadow cast, and it's going to make me look tired and gaunt. And we don't want that. We want to look lively and fresh and ready and passionate, enthusiastic, whatever, for that job interview. So right now it's highlighting just how bald I am. So I like to use a ring light. This is a 10-inch ring light. That's what I recommend. Again, we'll talk about equipment here in a sec. I got to get my camera to refocus on me. One sec. Drop my glasses. It's fun over here. Oh, come on, guy. Focus on me. Focus. Am I crazy? Yeah, it still looks out of focus. Oh, that's going to drive me nuts. One sec. There we go. Okay. You want good lighting. So ring light, highly recommend. Again, if I turn it off, or sorry, that was different colors. You can change the color. I like to do a blend because I think this one makes me look red. That one's pretty good. I think I like this one the most. And then that's a little too cold. There's like different settings on mine. You can make it brighter. You can make it dimmer. But if mine's too bright, I kind of get a headache. So also, the struggle with the glasses is if I feel like if I have them completely on my face versus just like a little bit off. So those are just some small things to keep in mind, okay? But more important than anything is you don't want your only light source to be above you. Natural lighting is the best. If you don't have a ring light, just get a lamp from somewhere and put it behind your monitor or somewhere where you can illuminate the front of your face and not just have light from the top. For grading purposes, I'm not going to be super harsh on this. But if you do have a messy background, I will dock for that, mainly just because I need to know that you put effort into your appearance, your brand, and your setup. Because again, whether it's virtual or in the real world, you want to convey that professionalism, and we need to be strategic about how we do that in everything that we do. Okay, that is that. Next thing I want to talk about is audio quality. So I've had to give out zeros, unfortunately, before because students have terrible audio quality. The reasons why are numerous. Sometimes the mic is just really old and it's just got this sound that's just I can't even hear them talk. Sometimes they have a fan right next to the microphone just because it's hot in the room or something, and I just can't hear anything. It's totally washed out. Audio quality makes a huge difference. You want it as easy as possible for your audience to understand you and hear you. And so make sure that your audio quality is good. And now you can do that with Kaltura. What I recommend, webcam microphones are passable. Like they're okay. They're not good. They're fair at best. What I recommend is one of these guys. This is a lavalier microphone. Looks like the head of mine popped off. Where did that go? Anyway, right here. Okay. So usually it's just got a little black head right there that just comes on. It reduces the popping noise. So all you got to do is just, pin that to your lapel, boom, and then drop the rest of this through your shirt and then plug that into your computer or your phone or whatever it is that you're using to do that meeting or presentation. There it is. I knew it was somewhere. This little guy. Just put that back on there. Usually looks like that. And then you plug it into your computer, and it's awesome because it generally will only capture this vertical audio source. And so if there's background noise or like cars driving by, that lavalier or lapel microphone does a pretty good job of not picking it up. However, especially with us guys with these lapels or if we're wearing a suit, if we move around too much, it can pick up the rustling and kind of create a sound like that. So just something to be mindful of. Let's actually hop on over to the equipment chart here and take a look at some of these things. So this is the lavalier microphone. This guy right here is on that list. I have this presentation checklist here. Oh wait, where is it? Where'd it go? Where did that go? Here we go. Okay. So this is my business presentations equipment checklist. This is what I recommend. This is the most affordable options for students. This is that lavalier microphone that I just showed you. It's $10. It has a pop filter. It works great. You can plug it into your phone. You can plug it into your computer, and it'll pretty much automatically just do what it's supposed to do, and it's great. For those who don't like to use lavalier microphones, I recommend a cheap condenser microphone. The science in this is condenser microphones do pick up omnidirectionally the sound in the room for the most part. So these do boost the quality of how your voice sounds. However, if there is a fan in the room, or if cars are driving by, if there's a train or something, this will pick it up. So that's the trade-off. It's convenient. It's way easier to manage if you use a condenser microphone. This is a dynamic microphone. It's a little bit different, but you get the idea setup-wise. It picks up the voice really well. It sounds better, but it also picks up kids playing in the background or whatever. Whereas with the lavalier, it's closer to your face. Your voice will definitely override whatever background noise, and it'll just pick up less. But again, if you move around, it might make rustling. So those are some things to keep in mind. But I'm telling you again, 10 out of 10, it is worth it, my friends. It is worth it to buy one of these two microphones to level up your virtual interviews and virtual presenting. This ring light we talked about, this is a 4.5 inch. This is pretty small. I mean, I feel like this would have to be pretty strong, pretty powerful to work. I like the 10 to 8 inch ones a little bit more. Like this one's 10 inch, it's 25, 12 inch, that's 22. A little bit more pricey, obviously. So if it's not in your budget, don't stress yourself out too much about it. But that 4.5 inch ring light does work. It'll do the job. It'll help illuminate you, especially if you're in a dark room presenting or interviewing. Second to last thing, we're just going to talk about webcams again. Even if you have a MacBook that has a pretty good webcam camera, it just cannot compare to an HD 1080p webcam. Now, there are all different types and shapes of 1080p webcams. Like this Lenovo one is pretty insane. It's a little overpriced probably, but it's really high quality. There's a Logitech one. Here we go. Yeah, this one's like what streamers use and YouTubers use. Pretty awesome that it's accessible, $50, $70. But again, that's a little bit outside of our budget. That's why I recommend a $20 off-brand replica of the Logitech one. It's 1080p. It just makes a world of difference. It's not potato quality. Again, if you're using a laptop, you're going to be looking down at the audience, and you don't want that. You want to be at their level, or let them be looking a little bit down at you, like you looking up at them. So that is why getting a webcam that you can move around and frame and adjust, because you have that wire and it sets wherever you want on your monitor, is worth it. So again, highly recommend getting a 1080p webcam. And then last, but definitely not least, is the clicker, okay? None of you, I mean, maybe, there might be one or two of you who actually want to become professional presenters. But don't make the mistake of thinking, well, the only time I would need a clicker is if I was a professional presenter. That is just not true. First off, you do trainings all the time in the business world. Even if you're like a coder or a marketer or just a general business person, you think, oh, I'm not going to be presenting that much. No, anytime you train somebody, anytime you need to present on a project or reporting on something, you're going to want a clicker to help you click through the slides. And for this class, I would love if you had a clicker. Even if you're an online only student, especially if you are a hybrid student or in person, I want you to have a clicker at your disposal. Now, if you have a wireless mouse, that is that is passable as well. I'll allow that. Or if you want somebody to click through for you, that's fine as well. But we focus on transitions in this class. We focus on professionalism, and having a clicker just levels that up a whole bunch. So I recommend a clicker. This one's $15. I think there's even like the exact same kind that's cheaper now that you can pick and buy. So it's $10. It's probably worth it. So again, if you were to buy one microphone, one clicker, one ring light, and one webcam, you're still looking at about $40 to $50 is all. And that will give you an edge over other people who are applying and don't have that set up. You're getting an advantage on your grade because that quality impacts how I perceive how much effort you put in. So it can impact your grade. It can impact your virtual presentations, your Zoom meetings. If you are, talking to someone you're dating long distance, it's just going to be way better for them. So there's a litany of reasons why getting a home studio setup is important. So just like we practice rhetorical presenting, tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them. I'm going to do the same here. Recap. We want to be aware of what our background looks like. In fact, I'm going to switch back to here. We want to be aware of what our background looks like. Minimal, 1 to 2 items, maybe 3 at most. Lighting. We want to make sure that we have front-facing lighting. Natural light is the best, but if we can't have it, let's grab a lamp or a ring light to put that forward illumination there. Accordingly, we want our webcam to be at eye level or slightly above us. That's the best appearance for interviews and for presenting. And then for audio and microphone quality, we want to make sure that the audience can hear us clearly. And usually we need a condenser microphone or a lavalier lapel microphone in order to do that. So with all these tools and with some of these basic things, you are setting yourself apart in a big way, and it makes a big difference.